Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another anti-character guide. Today, finishing off the Heihachi anti-guide series, we're going to be looking at Warrior's Instinct. I'm sure Warrior's Instinct has been on your guys' mind when looking at Heihachi and what you can actually do to counter this stance. It is kind of God mode for Heihachi, but I'm going to show you some stuff that you need to be aware of in this stance if you don't know already. So first off, starting off with how he gets into Warrior's Instinct. Very simple. Just like with a lot of other characters in stalls, if he pops heat 3 times in a match, he will gain access to Warrior's Instinct. When he has 3 tokens like this, if he pops heat 3 times in a match, doesn't have to be consecutive rounds, he will gain access to Warrior's Instinct. On hit, gaining access to Warrior's Instinct will look like this. It's plus 21. It's also wall splats, by the way. If he doesn't get hit and it's blocked, it is plus 2. Something to be aware of. He's not neutral, he's not minus here, he is actually plus 2 when he transitions. One thing I'll say about Warrior's Instinct that you really need to be aware of, and is probably the most important thing to be aware of when a Heihachi is in Warrior's Instinct, is that at minus 12, you can either eat a 1+2, which is 12 frames for a guaranteed follow-up, which is 54 damage, or you can eat a Chrome Dome with 4 1+2 into down forward 2-1, which gives a guaranteed. And I mess up the combo ender, but you see what I mean, right? You get launched at minus 12, it's not a good place to be in. So, moves that are different when he is in Warrior's Instinct. So now he's actually in Warrior's Instinct. What is different about this state that Heihachi is in? Well, 112 now does 31 damage as opposed to 27. Also, this does chip damage on block, but as you can see, it is still minus 17. He is not any less minus here. You can still launch punish him for this. Also, the counter to all of these moves, even though it might look like there's more tracking, you still do the same counterplay. You still sidewalk this to the left, and it will evade. Moving on, we have 1 back 2-2. This does do more chip damage. It is still minus 13. And on counter hit, now it will give this white effect, as you've seen before, I'm sure, which erases recoverable health. It also does a lot more damage. This now does 45 damage instead of 40 damage, and it does considerable chip damage on block as well. Well, 6 chip damage. Before Season 2, before the chip damage change, it did a lot more chip damage. And then the last thing I'll say about 1 back 2-2 is you sidewalk this to the left. Just like we did before. When he's not in Warrior's Instinct, you still sidewalk this to the left. Moving on, we have 1+2. The Ura. It is still minus 10. It is still 12 frames. Does a lot of chip damage now. It does 9 chip damage. And instead of being 30 damage, it is 37. And he gets a follow-up here with forward 2. Mahumi. And just like with the others, you sidestep this to the left. Just like you always do. Moving on, we have down forward 2-1. This now fully launches. If I'm not in Warrior's Instinct, this won't even wall splat. It's kind of a useless move. It only serves its purpose in Warrior's Instinct. And just like when he's not in Warrior's Instinct, if he goes into Warrior's Instinct and uses this, it is still minus 17. You still launch this. Kind of looks like he's actually plus here a little bit. Because of the but he's minus 17. Launch him for this. Launch him. Thing to note, as I said before, this fully launches. He can do this from his forward 1+2, remember? So 12 frame launch. Into 76 damage, at least, right? So be very careful about going minus 12. And with down forward 2-1, you do still sidewalk this to the right. You still sidewalk this to the right. Forward 2, which you've already seen before. Mahumi. It is still minus 16, just like it was. Has about the same amount of pushback. You could argue this maybe has a little bit more pushback. And I wouldn't argue with you. It does 26 damage as normal. And it does chip damage on block. Quite a lot at 8 damage. Still minus 16. If you are out the wall, again, he is point blank. There is no pushback. Launch him every time for this, if you have your back to the wall. Otherwise, in the open, do a long range punish. If you have a 16 frame launch, you can use that, but not many characters do have that. Use something like the Heihachi, for example. I would use this to punish forward 2. And to round off with the forward 2, you still sidewalk this to the left. Nothing has changed. Even though there's a lot of electric, it looks like it might track. It still doesn't track. You sidewalk this to the left. Forward 3. This used to be -3 on block. Now it is +1 because we're in Warrior's Instinct. Now, this used to do 25 damage. Now it does 30 damage for a bigger damage launcher. It does chip damage on block, as you've already seen, and it is +1. So it is actually very oppressive. It's a very oppressive move now. Again, just like with the others, sidewalk this to the left, and you will beat this. Even though there's a lot of electricity, it doesn't track. The next move, which is really important distinction between not in Warrior's Instinct and in Warrior's Instinct, is while running 1+2. Instead of this being +6, it is now +9. +6 when he's not in Warrior's Instinct. When he's in Warrior's Instinct, it is +9. So this Raijin stance mix-up now is a full mix-up. Again, with forward 1+2, you can sidestep this to the left, or sidewalk this to the left, sorry. And also, I should mention as well, the forward 1+2 also does a considerable amount of chip damage on block now. CD444, his Hellsweep. So as you can see, the first Hellsweep does not stagger, and it is -14. The second one is still -10. Very important distinction. Now, because even though it's -14 if you block the first one, he can still do the second one, even if the first one is blocked. This means that instead of blocking the first sweep, we have to rewire our brains or our muscle memory, right? So when he's in Warrior's Instinct, we have to low parry the first sweep. Otherwise, the most we get is a 10 frame dick jab, right? We want more than that, so we're going to have to low parry now. We're going to have to low parry the first sweep. If you think a hell sweep is coming, low parry. Don't block it. Only in Warrior's Instinct, of course. This still does track to both sides, by the way, so, you know, be careful about sidestepping, because this hell sweep is only -14. Next, we have Thunder God Kame 1. Now, if he's not in Warrior's Instinct, this is -11, and there is no pushback, so you can get your punish. We're in Warrior's Instinct now. It is only -8, and there is considerable pushback to put it back to neutral, essentially. It's basically set back to neutral because of the pushback. Also, one thing to note about Thunder God Kame 1 is that it has a reversal break effect, meaning that if the Heihachi wants to power crush, my one option here will break the power crush. It will break the power crush. The very, very last thing we're going to look at with Warrior's Instinct is Wind God Kame 2. Now, as you can see, instead of this being -10 like it is when he's not in Warrior's Instinct, now he's in Warrior's Instinct. It is only -3, and there's a ton of pushback. You still sidestep this to the left. So if you've watched the Wind God Kame anti-guide, the Heihachi, you'll know that the OS for beating this stance is to sidestep right duck, and this will beat everything apart from the power crush in most transitions that he has, including forward 3, you know, 1-2-2 on hit, forward 4 into the stance. Like, you can OS a lot of this stuff. It still applies. Everything that I said in that video still applies when he's in Warrior's Instinct. Just to convince you guys, you can still do the sidestep right duck, even though he's in Warrior's Instinct. Again, you might think that it has more tracking than it does because of all the effects and the electric, but sidestep right duck still applies to Wind God Kame moves. This move also has a reversal break effect, so just like with Thunder God Kame 1, this will break through power crushes and things like this, right? So be careful about power crushing against Wind God Kame. It is an option that a lot of people like to do. However, in Warrior's Instinct, I would not recommend it. So that actually wraps up the video. Not a long video again, but this also wraps up my anti-Heihachi complete guide series, I guess. There's a lot of words there. Maybe I should call it something different. But that is basically everything I can think of that Heihachi has that you guys need to be aware of. Like with the other videos and the last series that I did, if you're interested in looking at my notes that I make for these videos, I will leave a link to my Discord server in the description of this video. Do me a favor, guys, if you liked the video, leave a like, and if you're new here and you want to find your way back, hit the subscribe button down below. That's going to be it from me. Take it easy, guys. Much love, and I will see you in the next one.